Silent Confessions. When passions ignite, can love conquer all? Welcome back to Silent Confessions, the place where secrets, betrayals, and forbidden passions come to life. Today, we dive into a story that will leave you breathless, a tale of love, lust, and deception that defies all conventions. What happens when two women, both trapped in unfulfilling marriages, discover a burning desire that neither of them can resist? What begins as a fleeting connection soon spirals into a passionate affair filled with stolen kisses, whispered promises, and nights of unrestrained pleasure. But secrets have a way of unraveling, and every desire comes with a price. Will love be enough to overcome betrayal, or will their passion consume them entirely? Stay with us as we uncover the story of Emma and Isabelle, two wives who crossed the line and changed their lives forever. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to Silent Confessions and turn on notifications so you never miss a story of love, lies, and infidelity. Now let's dive in. Emma had always been the perfect wife. At least, that's what everyone thought. Married to the wealthy and ambitious James, she lived in a beautiful home in New York, attended high society events, and played the role of a devoted partner flawlessly. But behind closed doors, their marriage was cold, devoid of passion, filled only with empty conversations and polite smiles. James was more in love with his business than with her, and the loneliness gnawed at Emma every night. The bed felt colder with each passing day, and her body ached for a kind of closeness she had almost forgotten existed. She would stare at the ceiling at night, wondering if this was all life had left for her, a routine of empty gestures and forced obligations. She fantasized about a world where someone touched her not out of habit, but with hunger, where her name was whispered in the dark with longing rather than duty. Then came Isabelle. Isabelle was the wife of Richard, a powerful lawyer with a reputation for being ruthless. Like Emma, she had spent years in a passionless marriage, yearning for something, or someone, to awaken the fire inside her. Theirs was a marriage built on appearances, a partnership of convenience where passion had long since burned out. Isabelle found herself growing resentful of Richard's coldness, his dismissive nature, the way he looked at her as though she were just another possession. She ached for something more, something wild, something reckless. When their paths crossed at a charity gala, there was an instant spark, a lingering glance, a shared smirk, a moment that stretched longer than it should have. The way Isabelle licked her lips as she sipped her wine, the slight brush of their fingers as they exchanged pleasantries. It all felt like something forbidden yet intoxicating. Isabelle's gaze lingered, her eyes dark and knowing, filled with an intensity that sent a shiver down Emma's spine. Emma felt her pulse quicken, an unfamiliar but thrilling sensation blooming in her chest. For the first time in years, she felt truly seen. The atmosphere between them was charged, thick with unspoken promises. Isabelle leaned in, her breath warm against Emma's ear as she whispered something innocuous, yet her voice carried a sultry undercurrent that made Emma's skin tingle. The simple act of Isabelle brushing a stray hair from Emma's cheek sent a rush of heat through her body, leaving her breathless. She couldn't shake the way Isabelle's lips curved in that knowing smile, as if she already knew the effect she had on Emma. That night, as Emma lay in bed beside her oblivious husband, she couldn't sleep. The memory of Isabelle's touch haunted her, the way her fingers had lingered just a second too long, the way her gaze had burned through layers of propriety and restraint. She replayed the moment in her mind, imagining what might have happened if she had leaned in, if she had let herself get lost in the moment. Her fingers traced the bare skin of her collarbone absent-mindedly, wishing they were Isabelle's instead. She had never considered the possibility of wanting another woman before, but now it was all she could think about. A few days later, Isabelle sent Emma a message. "Lunch tomorrow? Just us girls." What started as casual meetings over coffee soon turned into something much deeper. Their conversations were intimate, filled with laughter, confessions, and stolen touches. There was an unspoken tension between them, a pull that neither could ignore. Emma found herself craving Isabelle's presence, her scent, her touch. She would replay their conversations in her mind, her fingers grazing her own lips as if remembering the way Isabelle's breath felt against her skin. She would dream of Isabelle's fingertips trailing along her arm, the slow, deliberate way she spoke, her voice like silk. She began to notice the way Isabelle's gaze lingered on her lips when they spoke, how their fingers would brush a little longer than necessary when they exchanged a coffee cup. Every moment they spent together felt intoxicating, a slow burn of anticipation neither dared to fully acknowledge. As the weeks passed, their meetings became more secretive, their goodbyes more reluctant. Emma found herself breathless with anticipation before every encounter, checking her reflection, making sure her perfume lingered just enough. Isabelle, too, was drawn into this dangerous dance, her texts becoming bolder, her touches more lingering. One evening, when the rain poured against the city lights, everything changed. They found themselves alone in Isabelle's penthouse, the air thick with electricity. Emma hesitated at first, standing by the window, watching the city lights blur behind the raindrops. Isabelle approached her from behind, her hands grazing Emma's arms before sliding down to her waist, pulling her in. The tension that had been building for weeks finally ignited. A single touch turned into a caress, a hesitant kiss ignited into something much more. Hands explored forbidden territory, fingers tracing the delicate lines of bodies that had long been deprived of true passion. Lips traced heated trails down soft skin, shivers danced along their spines as sighs and whispers filled the dimly lit room. The way Isabelle's body pressed against Emma's sent shockwaves through her. Every movement slow and deliberate, teasing out sensations neither had felt in years. Their passion was raw, urgent, consuming. They were no longer just wives trapped in lifeless marriages. They were lovers, desperate to make up for lost time. Their bodies moved in perfect harmony, the sheets tangled around them as their sighs melted into the night. Time lost meaning as they surrendered to the hunger that had been building between them for so long. In that moment, nothing else existed. No husbands, no obligations, only the electric connection between them. Pulsing and insatiable. Nights of reckless abandon followed. Secret meetings in luxury hotels, stolen moments in the back of a cab, heated whispers in dimly lit bars. Every touch was a fire, every kiss a silent promise. Emma felt alive for the first time in years, and Isabelle had never known such pleasure, such need. They studied each other's bodies with devotion, mapping every curve, every sigh. Isabelle's lips would linger at the base of Emma's throat, leaving trails of warmth and longing. Emma would press her body against Isabelle's, gasping as their skin met, their desire insatiable. Their nights stretched into hours of exploration, learning the secrets of each other's bodies, tracing paths of pleasure along soft skin, reveling in the newfound intimacy that neither had ever dared to imagine before. Their passion was endless, an insatiable hunger that only grew with every forbidden touch. Isabelle would whisper against Emma's lips, teasing her with promises of more, of never letting go. Emma, breathless and undone beneath her, clung to her like she was the only thing that mattered. They were reckless, devouring each other in moonlit hotel rooms, their love a wildfire they refused to tame. But secrets, like flames, have a way of spreading. James began to notice Emma's late nights, the way she looked at her phone, the glow in her eyes that had nothing to do with him. He had always thought her predictable, steady, devoted. But suddenly, she was different, more radiant, more distracted. Richard, always the suspicious type, had his own doubts about Isabelle's sudden happiness. He had noticed the way she would vanish for hours, returning home with a flush on her cheeks and a dazed look in her eyes. The walls were closing in, and both women knew they were playing a dangerous game. But could they stop? Would they even want to? The tension became unbearable. One stolen glance too many at a party, a scent of perfume lingering on Emma's clothes, a message left unchecked on Isabelle's phone. The world around them began to crack, and they felt it, an inevitable storm brewing just beyond their reach. One night, Isabelle made a bold proposal. Let's leave them, run away, just us. Emma hesitated. Could she abandon everything she had ever known for this? For a love so intense, so scandalous, yet so real? Her heart raced at the thought. Isabelle reached for her hands, holding them between her own, her eyes dark with longing. "Say yes," she whispered. "Let's stop hiding. Let's have a life that's just ours." Emma wanted to say yes. She wanted to throw caution to the wind, to let the world burn if it meant having Isabelle forever. But before she could decide, fate intervened. The truth had a way of surfacing, and when it did, the fallout was devastating. What would you do if you were in Emma and Isabelle's place? Would you risk it all for passion, or would you stay trapped in a loveless marriage? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you love this story and want more thrilling tales of desire, betrayal, and forbidden love, make sure to subscribe to Silent Confessions and hit that notification bell. We have so many more secrets to uncover, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Until next time, remember, every secret has a price.